raggedy.
Hello, and welcome back to the Reforming Pessimist podcast. Ooh, child, it's another banger. Hey, yeah, it's me, a banger. Hi, guys. I hope you're all good. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are in higher spirits. As usual, every time I record, I always say that it's good to be here. It really is good to be here. This brings me a little bit of joy to just talk about things. So I hope in me talking about things is like, reassuring you, like I always say, validating you and keeping you going. Because I swear down, life is flipping raggedy. It's so bloody raggedy. And yeah, it is tough. It's really, really tough. So by the tone of my voice and my energy, you can guess that, in a little bit of a not so optimistic but pessimistic place. But at the end of the day, like we said, reforming, innit? We are reforming the pessimism. It's not like we are an optimist. Then this podcast will be called The Optimist. But unfortunately, I am reforming in my pessimism. So there are days where I'm not going to come with energy and excitement, but I'm just going to come as I am, as a banger, your girly, your Beyblades. That's my other name, by the way. Multiple identities. Trauma. It does that to you. But yeah, jokes aside, yeah, you go through tough times. So let's do a check-in. I think this is going to be kind of like a diary episode because your girl needs to walk through things, but also again, like with most things that I talk about on here, also, see silver lining in things. I share this with you guys because I'm trying to also show how much I am lifting myself up, and keeping myself going because I really want to work on being here and, experience more beautiful things in life. So, if you're on this journey with me, or if you're considering, or if you're on the verge and you're getting here, welcome. I hope I can give you some solace, and I hope I can give you some encouragement as I am being my authentic and honest self, talking about living with my mental illness in this raggedy, and I repeat, raggedy life and adulting is not a joke. So you're checking where I am. I'm not gonna lie, I've been on a really good wave for a bit now. I've been doing really well. The anxiety is low. I think when I'm in a good place, everything is low. Like anxiety is low, depression is non-existent. My eating disorders in a great place, and I eat well and I look after myself, you know what I mean? I'm not constantly in my head or worried or being paranoid or whatnot. I've been good for a very long time, which I love, guys. I love this so much because, is way better than just being in depression nonstop. That's the other end. And being constantly anxious and paranoid because, like I said, depression and anxiety are besties. And then on top of them, my eating disorders, hello, let's comfort because things are tough. And it's just a spiral, and all these other coping mechanism and addictive things that I've picked up or bad behaviors, they all resurface. So when I'm in a really good place, I am happy to be there because then I'm consciously looking after myself and being caring to myself and taking care of myself. So I love being in that space. But then as we're healing from trauma, things are moving along, there's always a layer and there's always triggers to things. So, you don't know what you're gonna bump into that's gonna trigger you legit. You're just trying to heal, but the thing is that you cannot heal outside of the world. You need the world to be able to exist. You need community, you need people, but at the same time too, that also bring, it's like a double-edged sword type of situation where it also bring other realities, other things, like the difficult parts of life as well, which makes it challenging, because particularly if you're somebody who is so used to being in pain all the time, depressed all the time, anxious all the time, very not really in a very consistent, stable place, and you're in constant, like, just disillusion, just like, defeat, and life is really, really hitting you hard, and so, like, it's hit you hard so much that sometimes when even other new hits come, it can really feel hard to take them on, and that can also get you to spiral. So you can do the healing and get here, and then another life thing will happen, and that can really set you back miles, miles, miles. It's like an addict, like, you can do so well for a very long time, and then one day, you have a down moment or flow, and that can literally be you restarting the whole process again. But maybe not starting from step one or like -10 this time. It's starting from zero, because the road, the path, you've done it before. So I think that's the better side of it, I would say. But yeah, life can be tough. So whilst you're healing your mental health, you may encounter challenges, and I do as well in this healing thing. I'm optimistic. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm working hard to be optimistic about life, about my journey, about why I'm here. Find things that keeps me optimistic, relationship, keep connecting, keep building. And I've been doing that, and that's why I've been in such a good place for a very long time, because all the hard work I've put in over the last 15 years, 16 years since I immigrated to the UK, with that massive, massive change in my life. I've worked really hard I didn't even realize I was working hard to get myself here, but I was. So I'm really reaping the benefits of all of that hard work, in terms of like confronting things and pushing on things and listening to things and picking up on things that people said, so that I can really use it to kind of better myself, because I think that genuinely I just want to be happy and live a happier life. It's just that life has not afforded me that. Life has been really cruel and harsh to me. Every turn it's been really cruel and harsh, but at the same time too, it's also giving me some grace and some luck, like some real luck, in terms of some of the friends that I've met, like, some of the people that I have in my life, and so these are the benefits that I get from life. I'm like, okay, let me really hone in on those things, and kind of course, they are the ones that nourish me and keep me going. So anyway, long story about a speech, you know what I mean? I have to do a whole speech, to get to the topic I'm talking about, but I'm basically talking about, like, basically being in healing, doing well, and then of course slip into that still occasional depression, because the depression never really goes away. Like, I've not had deep depression that lasted a very long time, since a year now. Or yeah, a year now actually. I remember I'm recording this in spring, guys, so timelines maybe all over the place, but I remember a year around this time, I was really coming out of a very long depression, like so long, it lasted like from July to like April. So almost a year. I don't even know how. I've had really bad depressions, but I do have a come out of it. But that was just, I didn't have no surface, like no even 2 weeks, no 1 week of just coming out of it, because even everything that I was doing, the depression was just following me. Like the anxiety was following me. They were all following me. Crazy. So I'm doing so much better now, guys. Like, my depression is like maybe what I'm about to talk about now is lasted maybe, I would say, a week or two. Whew. See progress. See progress. God is good, isn't it? God is really good. But yeah, so it's shorter, so I'm happy about that. But of course, if it was up to me, I wouldn't want to have it at all. Ever. But it's all part of the process of healing and the journey. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get rid of depression. I used to call it my depression, but a friend of mine told me the tongue is powerful. Like da, 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 da. Don't say that my depression, but it in some way it is my depression because it's kind of been riding with me for so long. For so long, since I was a kid, man. It's like the person I've known, or like that version of myself, is the person I've known the longest in my life. Anyway, that close to. Like I said, multiple personalities, guys. um so yeah, so it's much better now, but like if I was up to me, I really wouldn't have them. Basically not have any of my mental disorders, and like actually be able to exist and be present in life. But that will not be realistic. Because I have the life that I have. Radical acceptance in it. I was born into the life I was born into. I have been through the experiences that I've been through. I have dealt with the things that I've been chucked to me. And not going into that, I don't know, it's basically not being me. And not having the life experience that I've had. Maybe a different life experience, and that way I'd never have depression. But unfortunately, I've had the life that I've had, where it's being intense a lot. For people who go through childhood adverse trauma, my people out there, I see you. I really, really see you, because being a child and suffering so much for so long, it really does something to you. And so sometimes, in my case, I cannot avoid depression, and it comes. But now, when the depression comes, when the anxiety comes, when I have that eating disorder, I'm a little bit more graceful. I'm a little bit more kind. And, I try to lift myself up. So I've had a few, things happen in the last few weeks that, kind of got me to that depressed state. So I'm able to now pinpoint my triggers now, guys. Let me tell you, that is growth. That is growth. Like, I don't like patting myself on the back. I'm somebody who's my worst critic, but I'm really learning to love myself and pat myself on the back for the kind of progress I am making, because I am making some progress out here. And yeah, I am so proud of myself. Oh my God, for the work that I put into myself to get myself where I am now, and the community that I've had who've supported me and led me along the way. So yeah, I'm now able to, like, after a lot of work on introspection, really picking every trauma apart, dealing with them one by one, guys. Dealing with them one by one. I'm able to be in a space where when I get triggered now, I can tell what triggered me, where that trigger is coming from, and how to kind of address it, iron it out, and then kind of like take a step forward and keep moving on, which is great. I'm really loving that. So like I said, the past couple of weeks I've had a few tough moments. So I had a change. I had a really great travel period. I went traveling for a bit. I came back, and I found out some news about a change that was happening in my work. And that was really tough, because I love the people that I work with. I love my team. I love being part of that team. I was really excited on the prospects of how things were going to be and stuff like that. But unfortunately, things happen. This is corporate. There's always restructures and changes and whatnot. So my team is being basically disbanded, which is sad. But I'm moving on to a new team, and I'm trying to find optimism and not be pessimistic about, oh my God, and now I can do what I want to do, and why does things have to change, and life is so hard and it's so difficult. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Like, I had a really good conversation with my manager, and he was really encouraging and kind of grounded me and told me to not panic and worry, which was really good and reassuring of them to do that for me, even though, like, he's also got a lot of changes happen as well for him. So I was really grateful for him for that. So that calmed me down, of course, then got me back to my normal cycle of being like, oh, okay, I'm on it again. Like, I'm back to the version of me where, like, I'm confident, I'm present within myself, and I'm constantly making sure that I'm not making any decisions, choices that will lead me to a tunnel that I don't want to go to, Anyway, so then I then had another occurrence. I was really excited about the week, actually, this week in particular. And then there was an incident that oh my god, I don't even need to think. I'm like, am I very privileged now that, like, I don't want to have that incident happen? But basically that incident then triggered my fear of not being able to make it, my fear of not being able to do it all, or my disappointment in myself of not being able to get there faster and quicker. Mostly because, like, again, like I talked about childhood trauma. When you go through a lot as a child, like, I had abandonment issues due to certain circumstances. My parents weren't around. I was raised by extended family. I've always felt alone, and therefore moved very alone. And because of that, as a child, when you don't have a lot of support coming in, you start to rely on yourself and you start to raise yourself. And even I didn't realize that, like, I raised myself until I had a very, very beautiful soul family member of mine, loved one of mine, who pointed it out to me. The girl, you raise yourself, So in raising myself and trying to make the best decision and tough decision for myself at a very young age, I'm making these decisions that are kind of detrimental to me, but it's a protective mechanism as well, because that's all that I know as a child. And now as an adult, I can kind of like fine tune them and work on them, or like get rid of them all, or stuff like that. So, one of the things, like, as a child, like, coming from nothing and not having a lot, you want is to be able to kind of create stability and comfort and no stress around you, particularly if you're coming from a very high stress environment. Like I was a very, very stressful environment that I grew up in for a very long time. So all I know about stress, all I know about is anxiety, constantly being anxious all the time. Literally all the time, to the point I am such an overthinker that I can do this podcast because I analyze everything. To the point where I am so organized, guys. I am so organized. I have to plan everything ahead of time. Like, I think that sometimes when you have these traumas, it can skew your brain to be able to have a certain disorder. I think that sometimes I'm a little bit OCD. I don't have a diagnosis yet, but I think I do, because of the way that I do certain things. So I need to follow process because, I don't know how having anybody to check out and make sure it's okay, it's fine, like, you got it right, or give you thumbs up. So I'm making errors and I'm having to make sure that I'm triple checking, quadruple checking things, and I'm doing them right. Just so that I don't make a mistake, because I only have myself and myself alone to lean on until I met people who later on, I can lean on. So yeah, it's a really tough place to be. So when, particularly like when I'm not achieving the way that I want to achieve, because I have a lot of pressure on myself, and I'm like, you need to kind of get to this stage because you're ready to, whatever. And I'm not there yet. When I'm in a good place, I'm like, oh, that's fine. You know what? Optimistically, it will come soon, not long to go. Like, just keep working, just keep grinding. Something's going to come along. La da di da. Then there are moments where I'm pessimistic, like what happened. And I got really triggered. And then I could just see myself slipping into depression. And this depression I have, guys, I must say is different to the depression that I know, or the depressions I've had past year. It's different to the depressions I've had before. The depression I've had before, I've known them to be really intense, like really overwhelming, like to the point of feeling like you're drowning. But I also realized that like those depression was so heavy because a lot of my traumas I had not dealt with them. So it was like an onslaught of all of these things just like hitting you in one way, like you. Whew, it's a lot. And it took me a while to admit that I've been through a lot and accept that I've been through a lot because I invalidate the stuff that I go through all the time, you know. I don't know if anybody out there has similar experiences to me. I hope you guys exist. And you really also start to recognize that you've been through a lot because there's a lot of us out there. We just don't talk or we hide or we pretend because, you know, sometimes in a way, like when you come from a not so, you know, what society is seen as a structured environment, you can really get insecure about yourself and about your life. So you hide that to be able to compensate for other things, you know, and make like in so many ways anyway. But let me not sidetrack. So yeah, you know, this depression is very different. It's like a little bit more. It's like I don't know if it feels lighter, but it's still depression. You know, so I'm in my bed, like constantly I'm slipping into it and I'm not doing anything and I'm beginning to give up on myself and I'm overeating and, you know, I'm indulging in all my bad behaviors and I'm realizing, oh, okay, I'm in depression now. And they come like, you know, the last depression I had, I got triggered as well because of someone else. That was a couple of months ago. And I'm beginning to accept that, like, you know what, it's not going to be bright and sunshine. Now that I'm saying, oh, I'm reforming pessimism and I'm getting out of depression, anxiety, fuck you, and da 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 da. It's not gonna be. It's like I said, it's not a smooth sailing journey. I'm really trying to be honest about how I'm really working to reform this pessimism. But yeah, so it's a tough road. So I am gonna have these depressive moment, and you know, like when I got triggered, like I allowed myself to be sad about the fact that like you know my reality is not the same, you know, that I would want more, you know, and then like as you're doing that, so then I'm beginning to slip to depression. I start to think about all the things, the woe is me, I call it, stuff that would keep me more depressed. I'm like, oh, and you know, this thing has not hit well, and I'm gonna be bad at this, and I'm not gonna do great at that, and then basically I'm shedding away all the confidence that I've built. I'm literally like just shedding them all away, and letting this the depression seep in. I'm so used to it, and it's so comforting to me. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, here you are, even though like it's not a very healthy place to be. So yeah, so I got into it, like, you know, the depression was there. I'm really struggling, so you know, and I'm just being really bad, like watching TV till late, very late because I'm trying to escape and you know be out of my mind, and not be present, which means that it's then gonna affect my work, like being able to attend work and show up at work, you know, and be able to kind of push myself to get to the place that I want to get to and give myself like, you know, that kind of life that I am aspiring to, which is comfort. Let me tell you guys, when I'm on Instagram, everybody has their own thing, or like on social media anyway, everybody has their own thing that, you know, they'll be looking at and be like, oh, I want, like some people look at wealth and everything. I've been looking at lifestyle. The other day, I was scrolling past my Instagram and I saw this girl. I'm trying to find her name. She's like a 22-year-old model. She's married to this rich white guy. I have no clue who they are, but I've never even heard of this model before because she's quite young, and I'm a younger millennial, so sometimes all these Gen Zers that be out there, I have no clue who they are. I'm learning every day about all these new people, which is crazy because then in my generation there was all these people as well that the older people in my life that didn't know about, and yeah, they were like, yeah, you know, I have no clue. So I'm accepting that also I'm a little bit older and I have no clue. I'm trying to find this lady's name on Google to see. She was pregnant actually, and she wakes up in the morning. Her kids and her husband she asked them what they want to eat. They say we want to eat cereal, we want to have pound cake, whatever. And my girl, legit guys, mix it from scratch. When I say mix it, she makes butter from scratch, cheese from scratch, bread from scratch, everything from scratch. And I'm like, wow, how much I would love to have the time you have to do things from scratch. That's when you know your life is at ease. That's when you know your life is so at ease. And I looked at this girl and I'm like, I get why you're so popular on the social media app, because a lot of people out here are seeking ease. They're seeking comfort. They're just seeking a less stressful and less mentally challenging life. And life is not being like that to them. So, having watching you do it maybe gives them a little bit of like relief, some euphoria, to be like, oh my God, I can aspire to this. I don't know when it's gonna come, but I'm gonna be hopeful and hope that one day this will come my way. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I aspire to just live a life of ease, because that's not been the reality for me, in terms of being at ease and being not stressed or anxious or not depressed or just relaxed about life. So, and I would love to be able to live a life where I wake up in the morning and I make everything from bloody scratch. If you know that influencer's name, let me know. I can't remember her name. She was just young. I think she's biracial. Influencer. I think she's a model as well. Really beautiful. I think she's got 2 kids already. She's like 22. And my girl is doing her thing, and I'm like, I love this for you, sis. I really do. And I want to participate one day. I really want to. So yeah, I love watching people who live in ease, not because you're not working hard and you're not participating in life. I mean, capitalism, of course, we know it's a rat race. This life in general is a rat race. But just to be able to see that some people are able to attain that and achieve that, even though we live in a very weird world, it's nice to see, I guess. And also sometimes like sad, because I'm like, I want this so quickly. Come to me. But that's not real life. Nothing ever comes quickly. In my case, anyway. I hope you guys get lucky, though. I'm really wishing luck on you guys, because, luck is always never on my side. That's when you know you're a pessimist. Choo-choo. Yeah. I mean... The way I'm dragging myself here today. Yeah. It's life is tough. Life is really tough, like I say. So yeah, so like I got myself, in that mood, and I really worked on starting to lift myself up and be like, what, it's okay, it's fine. We're gonna, come out of this, and we're gonna lift ourselves up and start again, and try and not let this one blip, this one trigger drag us to sadness and depression, long depression and stuff like that. So I managed that trigger well, and I'm still coming out of it. I'm not fully out of it yet. I think this whole healing journey, I learned that it's just a very sad and grieving journey. I really want to do a few episodes on grief, because I have so much to say about grief, but that will come another time. But yeah, it has a very sad and grieving tone to it when you are going through healing, because it's a lot of things that you find out about that you grieve. And so when these sad moments come, I just allow myself to grieve. I lost my mom a year, but when I went to basically the massive depression, it was a year ago. I lost my mom, and as I was grieving her and whatever possibilities of I'll also dive into my mom. Guys, I tell you, you're gonna have fun on this podcast. Oh my God, I'm not gonna be the woman though that did that whole 50 episode. What's it called? Who the fuck did I get married at? Guys, that was, whilst I was depressed, that really kept me going. Just listen to somebody just go through some traumatic fuck shit. Yo. And I wasn't surprised by the ending at all. But I was like, wow, sister's been through it. I'm so sorry. And, at the end of the day, I could understand why someone can get so desperate, because you're squeezed and you just want certain things to go your way, maybe for once or something. So you really abandon all logic and all thoughts to just go and chase this thing because you feel like you deserve, you want, instead of actually taking a step back, taking a beat, being patient, and taking a slow stroll to where you need to get to and get the right things instead of running to them and falling flat on your face. So sorry, Teresa Tisa. I'm not a TikTok person, but like when I be hearing some of these like drama on TikTok, I'll go and watch them because I'm now, why not? It's entertaining. But yeah, so basically I was saying, like, life is hard, life is tough. And I grieve the moments where, like, my depression comes, because I'm like, let me just deal with the sadness, because it's just another moment for me to grieve, like, maybe ideas and thoughts and things that I'm getting older, so things where I expected myself to be in my youth, and then now where I am now. And also in doing that grief and recognizing all the things that triggers me, and being able to get myself out of depression. So also continue to be loving to myself, continue to be kind to myself, continue to be really good to myself, lift myself up, be encouraging, and outright just be optimistic. And remind myself that, like, as some Christians will say, when I look back, when I look back, when you look back, how far have you come? How far have you come? And like I said in the beginning of the episode, guys, I have come so bloody far, so bloody far. And therefore, the fact that I've made this journey and even gone through some of the harsh and toughest period, and I'm still here, and I survived. It was painful. I survived. I can do it. But that doesn't mean that I don't get tired, though. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I am really tired of healing. I am really tired of doing the work. I am really tired of, having to constantly think and analyze and process. I can see myself being like, oh, you're making so much progress and doing well, but it still doesn't mean that, like, I'm not tired. I am tired, guys. I just want soft life to come. Ha, Jesus. Please let soft life come. But yeah, but other than that, I know the life is life, and so I'm just gonna let reality kind of go its way, because I know it. I know the game. I've been living it for a very long time, and life taught me a lesson from a very, very young age. It just took me a while in my adulthood to be able to understand and figure it out. And that lesson is always gonna be tough. But just make the most out of it. That's what I'm learning anyway, and have fun with it. Enjoy yourself. Do go above and beyond for yourself. Do the best for yourself, and just love. Most of all, love on yourself and love on the people around you. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this diarized episode of me talking about my journey into reforming my pessimism. Hopefully it's on a lighter, happier note on the next episode. But have a bloody week. Love you all. Bye.
Raggedy. 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 So raggedy.